I realize this now because I hadn't realized this from all the other literature, or for that matter, your tweeting or your other interviews at all. I think you're very concerned with the sort of drastic change AI is going to get in, right? And I'm assuming you work very closely with the frontier of AI, right? How bad is it I've been stupid asking this question. How bad is it about to get? Like, to what degree are we inviting a completely unknown force into our existing systems?
Exactly.
Is it the same as industrial revolution and there was this paranoia around that, that people will run out of jobs and meaning and such?
Yeah.
Or is it a grander sort of enterprise we're getting into?
So the first thing that I think is intelligent to say on anyone answering this question is nobody knows. Nobody. So anything anyone says to an answer, they're not speaking from a perspective of authority or of wisdom. Like, they don't know. And without that disclaimer, a lot of people hear people expressing opinions about AI and they think, oh, they must know something. They don't. So I personally, now this is my disclaimer, I personally think that AI is going to change our reality in ways that are incomprehensible to us. I think the way we understand reality right now will no longer be the case. And so this is why I'm saying that we're on this cusp of this change that we can't even grok. Like, we do not understand the depths of how radical it's going to be. And so I think about that because I make that model because I just think if the fundamental insight is that we have transistors that do compute and intelligence increases, and you increase the intelligence based upon models you build, and if you build better models, intelligence improves, and et cetera. And then if that intelligence can build more intelligence, then it's going to naturally find its way to higher intelligence. It's on a path of improvement that is faster than ours and is different than ours.
Sure.
And so when you look at those basic principles, I think, it's like reasonable to imagine that this thing will probably exceed our abilities in most things. It'll probably come up with conceptual concepts we don't understand. It's probably going to discover things faster than we can comprehend. We're going to be on the unknowing side of this contemplation. And so that's my guess, and that's what I'm trying to prepare for, is when these new realities break our reality, I don't want us to fall apart like we did in COVID.
Sure. I see what you mean. And you think that it's a hypothetical in that way. Do you think that probably working with artificial intelligence is a faster way to get to longevity than working with the body? Like, is there a way that, or maybe another way to ask is your biomarkers going to provide the data set for longevity for AIs later? That's open.
Yeah, open.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, AlphaFold from Google DeepMind,
Right.
it's incredibly impressive. That's a problem people didn't think would be solved for a very, the same way that people didn't think AlphaGo could win at Go.
Right.
Right. The chess was like, Go was like a non-computable problem.
Right.
I think the same is going to be true with biology. I think that's why I'm bullish personally on longevity is in Dario from Anthropic, the CEO of Anthropic, was saying he thinks there's going to be 100 years worth of biological progress in the next 5 years.
Wow.
So most of my friends who build an AI, they maintain similar bullish outlooks that we're just going to have this avalanche of progress in all these fields because our new systems can do it. And so everyone who I'm close to who's at OpenAI and Anthropic, this is like I wouldn't say a universal, but there's quite a few people who maintain these bullish opinions. There's others who are bearish, who don't think it's going to go very fast. And they're all fine. Like, everyone, of course, is speculating. But I'm trying to think about this from the perspective of the 25th century. So people can debate, like, what's going to happen in 2025 and 2026. Like, that's a very granular way. But when you look at it from a few hundred years, like, give the intelligence a few hundred years to develop, to me, it's very clear, like, this thing will be incomprehensible to us. So we might as well get the fundamentals right at this moment.
Speak to me about this 25th century idea. I think you're the only person I've ever heard talk about it. I think a lot of the intellectuals of our time, and I mean, you were as much an adventurer as you're an intellectual. From the intellectual standpoint, what does it mean to look back at us from the 25th century? Explain to me that model.
Yeah. If we look back on the 15th century, we can look at 600 years of progress, and we can look at the models of reality that we now have that they didn't.
Right. And so it's going to be similar?
Yeah. So like think of all the things like we understand a transistor.
Right.
We understand proteins at a degree. We understand DNA. We understand
Germ theory.
right, exactly,
Yeah,
right. Like
yeah.
and so we have all these new models of reality that they didn't have. So they're blind to so much of reality. And so now when we're given a given problem,
Right.
like how do you do blank, we can pull up and be like, well, we understand the the microscopic world. We understand macroscopic. We understand biological interactions. So you have your tool set on how you solve a problem is very different. And so from the 25th century perspective, like they're going to have models we don't, and they're going to make our version of problem solving will be very primitive to them.
Sure.
The ways we understand the world, our models of reality, our wants, our desires, our meaning-making games. And so it's just a general observation that every generation eventually becomes primitive. So instead of seeing ourselves at the apex of greatness or the apex of discovery, you just flip it and say, we're actually primitive. And so can you see the... So like, I'll give you an example. Like being here in Mumbai, the air quality here is atrocious.
I think you should visit Delhi.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying it is so bad, especially coming from a person who's, don't die.
Right.
Right? It is like insane.
I think it's criminal.
It is criminal.
Yeah.
Like I can't even overstate. And so when I drive around the city, nobody's wearing a mask.
Yeah.
I show up to this podcast, like no one has an air filter. It is completely accepted. And yet it's equal to like smoking 10 cigarettes a day. Everybody's a chain smoker in Mumbai. Everybody.
Right.
And so, but the thing is, the community here is so normalized to pollution, nobody sees it. It is invisible. It takes me to come here, like a tourist, to come and be like, you guys, do you not see this obvious situation? And so in this moment, we are all blind to the reality of 2024 because we're in it. That's all we've ever known. And so when you jump to the 25th century and you visit this point from the 25th century, you can say the obvious thing like, you guys, you are absolutely blind to your ignorance of the situation.
Yeah.
Like, we're always blind to things. And so the 25th century is an exercise I'm trying to say is I know I'm primitive in this like most offensive way. So how do I at least see my primitiveness and try to overcome it?
Right.
And that's why when you jump to say existence is the highest virtue, not making money, not status, not power, existence, that is the singular. That is a perspective from the 25th century. Like that is the idea that no other game than existence matters other than that you're alive.
Guys, if you're interested in more content like this where it actually makes you think and explore how you think inside your head, dude, subscribe, man.